Welcome back. It's time we switch up things a little bit and move on to a different target. For the next few parts, we are going to be attacking Windows 7 Mission. For this to work, you will need to install Windows 7 Virtual Machine, and you will need to install it inside of your VirtualBox first. To do that, first you have to download your ISO image for the Windows 7. So just go ahead to your any web browser or YouTube and just search for Windows 7 ISO image file. When you download it, we are going to install it in our VirtualBox. So as you can see right here, mine is installed and it's already running, and this will be my Windows Virtual Machine. To install it, just like we always do, click on the new and just type Windows 7. Of course it's gonna be C. The type is gonna be Microsoft Windows. And for the Windows version, you have to know if your Windows machine is 64-bit, just choose 64-bit. After that you click next, and for this the memory you use 2 GB at least, or you can increase it. I'm just gonna use 2 GB is enough. And for the virtual hard disk, of course we're gonna create a virtual hard disk now, and 32 GB is more than enough, and I'm gonna press next and finish. And when you are done, your Windows 7 machine will be ready to be installed. But before that, we need 2 things. So go ahead to your settings. Right here, I'm gonna click settings. For the storage part, click this one and choose the empty, and in the empty part, click on this one, and you can just enter your ISO image, which is the Windows 7 machine. And after it's selected, click OK. But before you click OK right here, for the network part, try to make it bridge adapter here. It's OK right here. And after that, you will be good to go. And before you fully install your Windows Virtual Machine, there are one thing that I have to remind you. In the installation part, when you come across this thing, first let me open this. When you come across these things, try to choose this accumulator. The reason we are selecting this is we are simulating a vulnerable Windows machine that was regularly updated. So in this part, in the accumulator, you have to click in this one, because as I've said, you have to simulate a machine in which is vulnerable. So try to use the accumulator part when you are installing the Windows 7 machine. And before we attack it, we have to disable the firewall. The reason is because the attack we are going to perform targets on port 445, which is by default open in a Windows machine. However, it is also by default being filtered by firewall, that is automatically on every time you install a Windows machine. So for our exploit to work, a target must have that port unfiltered by firewall. In companies and large networks, that is usually the case. This port will be open and unfiltered. But why? Well, because it is SMB protocol, or server message block protocol. It is used for network file sharing, and it allows applications on the computer to read and write the files and to request services from several programs in a computer network. It is basically used for directly access or for printer access or something similar. That's why it is usually open inside company's network without any filter or whatsoever. So let me show you what I mean. Go ahead and open up your Windows 7 machine, and this will be your security system in which the Windows firewall is present. But to find it, just go ahead to control panel and go to your system security, and under this Windows firewall, we can just turn it on or turn off. But for this we have to disable it, because we have to scan it with our nmap, and I'll show you how we can do it. But for this part, we are going to scan it 2 times, once when the firewall is on and the second time when the firewall is off. So go ahead to your Kali Linux machine, and I'm gonna scan it. So sudo nmap, I'm gonna do a scene scan. First let me zoom in for this to see it better. Sudo nmap, I'm gonna do a scene scan, and then my Windows IP address, which is 252. To find it, you can just open our cmd and type ipconfig, and here you go. This is my Windows 7 IP address. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna press enter. I'm gonna enter my password. trying to scan the network of my Windows 7. Let's give it a minute. Since my firewall is closed, it will take a little bit more time than we disable it. Okay, it's done. As you can see, host is up. All 1000 scanner ports on 192.168.88.52 are ignored states. Now showing 1000 filtered TCP ports. As you can see, since we disable our firewall, Nmap didn't manage to find any ports open. But if I go back to my Windows 7 machine and turn off my firewall, and we will see open ports. And for this to work, we have to disable it, because since we are simulating a vulnerable Windows 7 which has not been updated regularly. So I'm gonna clear turn off firewall and turn off firewall, and I'm gonna press OK here. So if I go back to my Kali Linux machine and did another Nmap scan, I'm gonna press enter here. As you can see, it finished quickly because our firewall was off and it managed to find these ports which are open. But don't worry, this doesn't concern us. The ones that are important for us are this one, port 139 and port 445, since these are the SMB port numbers. Okay, great. Now it's time to get our first exploit on Windows 7 machine. We'll go first with the famous EternalBlue exploit, and this was an NSA exploit that got stolen and leaked, and that was used for the famous WannaCry ransomware that was attacked back in 2017. Okay, let's start our exploit. And before we begin our exploit, first we have to do our Nmap scan. As you can see, I did mine, and our ports which are the SMB protocols. And after that, just go hunt your MS console or the Metasploit framework and just search EternalBlue, which is going to be our first exploit on a Windows machine. And make sure the spelling is correct. I don't think it's correct. EternalBlue. If I search it, and I'm gonna find this exploits in one auxiliary scanner. So we have mentioned before, our auxiliary scanners that are found within the MSF can tell us whether a target machine is vulnerable or not. So why don't we go and use the auxiliary scanner to check whether our Windows machine is vulnerable to that exploit. So I'm going to just type use and use the auxiliary scanner, which is this one right here. I'm going to copy it and paste it right here. Okay, we got in. So if I type show info, we can see what it does. This uses information disclosure to determine if the EternalBlue has been patched or not. It connects to the IPCS tree and attempts a transaction on the FID0. If the machine is missing the MS17, which is the EternalBlue patch, the module will check for an existing double pulsar, and we will see this again in our next few videos. But basically, as you can see right here, we got in, and so let's see our options. So show options. We got different setup that we can do, but the only thing that we need is this our host. So let's set it up, which is our Windows IP address. Our host is 192.168.88.252. Okay, as you can see, this is the only thing that we need, which is the our hosts. And we don't need to change the R port, because this was the port that we are going to attack, in which the exploit or the vulnerability is found. And of course the thread is set up. So basically this is the only thing that we need is the our hosts. After that, just type run. Okay, so it tells us that host is likely vulnerable to the MS17010, which is the EternalBlue, and it tells us that in which exactly the version is, which is Windows 7 Home Basic 761 Service Pack, which is 64-bit. So we know that our target system is vulnerable. So let's try to exploit it. So let's search for the exploit. Search. By the way, you can press the upper arrow key here, just like we use in the terminal, to see the previous used commands. So if I search EternalBlue here, and use the exploit, which is this one. We need this one, which is exploit Windows SMB MS17 EternalBlue. I'm gonna go ahead and copy it. Okay, no payload configured, default into Windows x64 Metasploit reverse TCP. So this is our payload, and things that we see here is the x64. Just make sure when you install your Windows machine, check it whether it's 64 or 32-bit. If it's 32-bit, just change this one to x32 and leave the rest as it is. Let's check our options. Okay, the only thing that we have to set up is our hosts, which is our Windows 7 IP address. So set our host this to 192.168.88.252. It's done. Okay, so we got everything set up. Our lhost is our Kali Linux mission. Lport is 444, and the rport is great, which is the SMB port number. Everything is good. The only thing that we have to do is we have to run it, because everything that we set up is great. So I'm just gonna press run. Okay, we got successfully in. We exploit our target system, and we got our Metasploit share. And if I type get UID, it will tell that it is an authorized system, which is the highest level of account in a Windows machine, and the get UID is for the get user ID. Metasploit shell is type of shell that can give you a lot of commands to the target system. So to get it, you can just type help, and you will see a bunch of commands that you can use for the target system. And don't worry, we will see this in the next upcoming videos, but you can use different commands right here to use on your target system. Let us try the ALS, and it will list different directories, or you can just type screenshot. Okay, screenshot saved to home, Kali, and JPEG. So let us go check if it took the screenshot or not. This is my directory file. As you can see, here you go. We took the screenshot, and this means that we got our shell on the target system. This was our first exploit in a Windows machine, and in next video we will see another exploit. So see you then.